Hello, homeschoolers. This is Nove Ann Tan, and it's another I Homeschool podcast. And for the visual learners, it's another YouTube po live po tayo. Maraming pong salamat for choosing to listen to us and watch with us. For today, sana po ay madami po kayong matutunan. For today, I'm so excited because I am with my good friends. Talagang very relaxing tong conversation. Ay, topic na talagang masarap pag-usapan, especially in these times. Ito po ay months na mag-iisip ka, you're gonna make a lot of decisions, especially in curriculum. What if magkamali ka ng pililing curriculum? Or ano ba ang naging experience natin sa curriculum? At gaano ba talaga kaimportante ang curriculum sa ating homeschooling journey? So together with my good friends from Philippine Homeschool Association, first I would like to introduce my dear friend. She's happily married to attorney Ryan Tan, homeschooling mom for 4 kids, chairman of the board of Philippine Homeschool Association, licensed real estate appraiser and broker, work in investment banking industry through Deutsche Bank Academy background, and MS Finance and BS Economics na nag-aral po siya sa University of the Philippines sa Diliman. And also, she's one of the founder of Pag-asa sa Pagbasa. And also, she's one of the moms of our Moms Hangout No Filter Conversation monthly. Yan, makikita niyo po siya. Anong itsura niya? Yan po ang itsura niya. Let me introduce to you my dear friend, Jihan Osorio Tan. Hello, dear.
Hello, Ate Novi. Thank you for that kind introduction. Hello sa inyo. Sana ma-meet ko rin kayo, ano? Nakita niyo na ako. But I'm sure someday I hope to see you.
Yes. And of course, ito pong matagal ko na pong kakilala. Okay, she's married to Bernie for 20 years. 3 kids, 2 years alternative learning system director po siya. Tanglaw ng buhay and 9 years right start. Various roles including 5 years executive director po siya. She served in the various nonprofit organization for more than 10 years and in a private school for 4 years. Also, honorary member po siya ng Philippine Homeschool Association. I still remember nga po itong dear friend ko, nung nagsa-start pa po ang PHA, ay nandun po siya talaga at nakita niya po ang growth ng PHA. Let me introduce to you Sale Mallari. Hello!
Hello, thank you, Novi. Thank you for inviting me. Hello to everybody who are listening and watching on YouTube.
Yes. Maraming salamat, dears, sa inyong time. But, ay nako, actually, ito talaga ang dilema. Kung ano ba talaga itong curriculum, siguro every year, ako naging problema ko yan for 15 years. So, buti na lang graduate na ako ng konti dyan. But, for me to be able to talk, I think si Sale, ay graduate ka na ba rin, Sale? Hindi pa, no? But,
Meron pa, may baby pa eh.
Oo nga, may
Nag-graduate na
baby
isa,
pa.
pero may dalawa pa.
tuloy, parang gusto ko ulit magka-baby. Anyway,
Yeah, go!
ito ang pag-uusapan natin. Siyempre, ano ba talaga ang katotohanan about curriculum? Okay? For you, Jihan and Sale, sino man ang unang mag-answer, how do you define curriculum?
Si Saleh may magandang sagot dyan.
Sige.
Sige. So, nagkahiyaan kami ni Jihan, no? So, the truth about curriculum, unahin natin. Sa totoo lang, hindi nagkakasundo ang lahat ng experts sa definition ng curriculum. So, but there are some mga commonalities sa definition. I think ang pinaka-common is a curriculum is a course from the original root word. Ang ibig sabihin, course siya. So, originally used for universities in Europe during the old times. So, ang meaning niya, parang course. So, ibig sabihin ng course, parang pag formal course, sunod-sunod siya. You start with 1, and then 2, and then 3. So, ang common sa kanya, step by step, mayroong sinusunod na course. Parang din sa golf course, hindi ako nag-golf, pero ang alam ko, yung course may mga hole siya, di ba? Sunod-sunod rin. Yun. So, in relation to our children's curriculum, simply means na sa pag-aaral nila or in their learning, meron kang sinusunod din na guide kung paano sila matututo. Personally, for me, it's where, ano ba yung gusto mong ma-achieve? Ano yung gusto mong puntahan? It's also a course in your children's education.
Yes, I agree with what Saleh shared. And before we had a previous conversation for our upcoming talk, and Saleh mentioned that it's a course of a race. Okay, um, so for me, it's the path that leads our kids to their destination. So, ang tanong is, ano yung destination? And I guess because we homeschooled, we have different educational goals. We have different homeschooling goals. And it's important to go back to those, to go back to the vision that we have set for our family, for our homeschooling, para we can determine ano yung klase ng path na tatahakin natin. So in more practical terms, I guess the curriculum will answer the what. What am I going to teach my kids in order to achieve our educational goals? And it will answer the how. How am I going to teach my kids in order to achieve our educational goals? So, siya yung sumasagot sa how and what. Kasi yung ating goals and vision, yun yung ating why. So yun. So that's my view on curriculum.
And I'd like to add lang na di ba yung curriculum vitae, pag inas tayo, submit your curriculum vitae, ini-state doon yung kung ano yung direction ng career mo. What course did you study, di ba? Anong course ba ang inaral mo? And ano ba yung mga naging trabaho mo? Ano yung mga naging training mo? So it highlights the path of your career. In terms of homeschooling, since bata pa yung mga anak natin, syempre, hindi pa tayo sure kung saang career sila papunta. But in terms of learning, in the curriculum, we lay down saan papunta yung pagkakatuto nila. Not necessarily a career, but for some parents, bata pa lang nape-prepare na yung anak for a career. But more than that, it's the path of their education, how they will grow, how they will mature, how they will acquire knowledge, skills, and character.
Ang ganda ng mga definition niyo, my dear. So I won't add to that anymore so that ma-absorb ng mabuti ng ating listeners and viewers. So my second question is, on a personal note, in your journey, no, in homeschooling, dahil alam ko medyo matagal-tagal na kayo, no, when you were just starting homeschooling, can you share something positive or a negative part of your journey in homeschooling in choosing what you think is the best for paano kayo napunta doon sa ito na talaga yung gusto kong curriculum? Siyempre, meron tayong pinagdaanan sa race na mga lubak-lubak na, di ba, na journey. So, papaano yun on your part?
Okay, I'll start. Jihan yan. Since older, mas matanda.
The more experienced.
Oo, mas matanda. Okay.
Kasi I will learn from you pa, Tesale.
Pero halos sabay kami ni Nove, halos magkasing edad yung anak namin. When we were starting the homeschooling, parang in the Philippines, hindi pa siya ganun ka kilala, no? Hindi pa siya ganun ka mainstream. Unlike now, mas marami na nag-homeschool. Ang isa sa obstacle ko at that time, since hindi pa siya kilala, parang a lot of people are not aware or may encounter ka, they will discourage you from homeschooling. Parang they're saying na, magtuturo ka ng anak mo, hindi ka naman teacher. So that's one. That's the common, parang it's off. To some people who's not familiar with homeschooling, it's off na, why are you not sending your children to school? So, tapos materials din, at my time, I think mayroon na mga materials, pero hindi pa siya ganon karami. In my case, ang obstacle ko is a lot of the curriculum are imported and it's quite expensive. So, yun yung isa. Hindi na masyadong maraming materials. And I think a friend of mine nag-order pa siya abroad. So, that's one. Meron pang iba, pero now yun yung isa sa unang naiisip ko. And also, since bago pa lang, medyo nakakatakot. Since people nga are telling you now you're not a teacher, so as a bagong homeschooler, may fear ka din na tama ba itong pipiliin ko? Or, nga, hindi ako teacher. Pag pumili ako ng material, how do I ensure na matututo yung anak ko in the way na gusto ko? So, that's the other one.
Thank you. I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, Jihan.
Yes. Before I officially homeschooled, meaning before I enrolled Ryla with a homeschool provider, I tried to do homeschooling for a year na unofficial. So sumasama ako sa homeschool co-op, yung sa bahay ni Ate Novi. So I enjoyed that, and we just because at that time Ryla would be nursery. So we just enjoyed reading all sorts of books, exploring. So napaka open-ended. Okay, so we're just really enjoying. And then now that I finally decided to homeschool, so I have to choose a homeschool provider. And when finally I had to do that, sunod-sunod yung mga circumstances namin sa family. Like we had our house constructed in Pampanga, and it took a year. And then I got pregnant with Joshua. And so I had to supervise, visit the site every so often. And I was pregnant with Joshua. So by the time now we had to start with yung official year niya, yung kinder niya, with the homeschool provider, I think 3 months, I had a 3-month-old baby, and we just moved into the house. And given those circumstances, I wasn't really able to prepare or to think about, okay, so kailangan ko palang pumili ng books, no? So the homeschool provider gave an orientation, but it really did not give us an overview of the different methodologies that we can choose from. So it just gave us a list of materials, and then listed there for like this material would be high supervision or low supervision, or would be appealing to a kinesthetic learner or a visual learner or an auditory learner. But there was no like a broader framework to kind of for you to say this kind of path resonates with me, or this is something that I would like to pursue. So at that time, hindi ko pa alam yung Charlotte Mason, hindi ko pa alam yung classical education. So wala pa ako nun. So we just went through what the homeschool provider required of us and gave us options, and I went through the books, and then I chose the ones I thought would be best for Ryla at that time. So as we went on, as we started, so I got to think about what kind of homeschool do I want. So I guess for new homeschoolers, it takes a bit of experience for you to really find out what will work for your homeschool, what will work for your family, for your kid. At the start, gusto ko mag-DIY. Parang, no, I'm gonna put things together. But then I realized my constraint was on time, because I had 3 kids. I was nursing a baby, and then we just moved. So my constraint was time. So pinipilit kong mag-DIY, but then my circumstances did not really support that. So I researched, and I saw resources that I felt that would be interesting to Ryla. And then you start to research, and then eventually, as you get to know your child, and as you get to know yourself as a teacher, you get insights that, oh, this does not work. Oh, this works. And learning also as you journey with other families, and you see what works for them and what you think will help you in your educational goals. Done. Eventually, things fall into place. Pero it takes time. It takes time to know. And for those who are thinking about homeschooling, it would be good to do a lot of research at first. So ngayon, it's a good time to start, because there are so many resources out there, so many support groups that you can go to, and that kind of decision making hopefully is now easier for homeschooling families.
Yung may sinabi si Jihan kanina na madami ng options. Yun nga eh, too much options, no? I still remember when I was just starting kami ni Sally, wala masyado eh. As in, para kang bulag, ano nga, walang, ngayon naman too much. So, overload. Ngayon,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're more wiser on how to be able to say no to that. But what do you think you can advise to these homeschoolers na ito yung suggestion, ito yung ganito, ang dami nakakita. Compare ko kaya, uy, nag-work ka ganyan, tapos sabihin, celebrity ganito, ginamit yan, gagamitin ko nga yan. Or yung mga ganun.
Mhm.
Kaya lumalabas, itong next question ko, okay, na ang gastos naman ng homeschooling, kala ko ba matipid yan? So,
Mhm.
so that is my question. Siyempre, siguro nangyari naman din yan sa journey nyo, but itong maganda from you both that I love and I trust, siguro kailangan natin bigyan ng perspective ng mga homeschoolers because of those choices. How do you manage that overload? Okay? And kailangan ba talagang magastos ito?
Mhm. Yeah. Kaya I said, so yung question mo na what was your difficulty when you're looking for a curriculum, yun lang actually yung naisip, yun ang unang naisip ko na yung cost nga. That time kasi wala masyado, so mostly abroad. Pero sa totoo, I didn't really find this as a problem kasi nung umpasa pa lang gaya ng sinasabi ni Jihan na clear for me ano yung objective, ano yung gusto ko, what do I want my children to be in the future. So dahil clear what we want for the children, what we want them to learn, ano yung gusto naming ma-develop, hindi siya ganun ka-hard because for us nga, for me, curriculum is not synonymous to the material. Sometimes, medyo it's used synonymously pag sinabing, anong curriculum mo? Parang minsan synonymous na, anong ginagamit mong material? Or although the material is part of the curriculum, hindi naman talaga iyon yun. So the curriculum nga is the content, the purpose, the direction. So for the parents who wants to homeschool, una is I agree with yung sinabi ni Jihan na define muna natin ano yung gusto natin, ano yung purpose natin, ano yung direction, ano yung goal natin. Bakit pinili natin mag-homeschool and not sa regular school? So because it's clear, hindi problema masyado for me or for us yung material. Actually, we did not buy. We never bought an entire curriculum because kami, ang constraint namin, I decided not to work, so I'm stay at home. So, limited yung income namin. So, hindi ako bumili. Ang good at that time because kahit wala pang mga co-op nun, I had friends at that time na nag-homeschool din. And my friends and we were generous in sharing paano mag-homeschool. And sila din, they're generous in sharing the materials na ginagamit nila. Ang difficult is, you get their curriculum, but you don't know ano ba yung principles, values, and philosophies behind this material. So whether you decide to make your own or buy a curriculum, ang importante is to understand anong klase ba itong curriculum nito? Is it leading more science, more Bible, more art ba siya? Ano yung overall niya? So ako, what I did is, kung ano yung material available, that's what we use. So, ano yung we can afford? We go to book sale, and then some of my friends, they shared, and then, what else? So, kung ano yung meron kaming book, I tailored the material, what we have sa objective na gusto namin. Ang difficulty dito is, for me kasi, I have a background na in Sunday school. So if you're in Sunday school, usually there are trainings, methods of teaching, learning styles. I think that is an advantage. For me, high school or college pa lang, I had those orientation na. So for new homeschoolers, I think a good preparation is to know some basic on learning, like methods of teaching, multiple intelligence, learning styles. What else? Some basic philosophy in teaching. I think that's what made it easier for me.
Thank you so much for that, Saleh. Jihan, yes. How about you, my dear?
Yes. Maganda yung sinabi ni Ate Selena, clear sa kanya yung reason niya kung bakit sila nag-homeschool. And for us, there was really no reason to homeschool because we were all the time when I was pregnant with Ryla, I was really thinking of, going through the normal way of educating kids. And it was only when my eyes were open to the homeschool community in Green Hills that I started to consider it. So why did we consider it? And yung una kong the big thing that drew me to it was that if I have an opportunity, to be able to be the main influence in my child's life during her formative years, I will be able to be the main influencer. I'll be able to transfer to impart to her
Yes,
spiritual
yes.
formation
Agree.
and my love for learning, the things that I value, that we value as a family. I would grab it. And at that time, I was not working. So with that, I guess malaki din yung, tama yung sinabi ni Selena, because of her background, it was easy for her. And I guess yung personal experience natin growing up also bears on our decisions for our kids. And I remember I grew up na I really love to read. I really love to read. And my curriculum was mastery. Alam mo yung minsan sinusuka mo na kasi paulit-ulit, but yung nakapikit ka na pero you still have to do it. So my mastery. So I understood rigor and I knew the value of that. Na in due time, for now you don't appreciate it kasi parang paulit-ulit. But in due time you see the value. Kaya pala ganun yun because I need to master it. So I come from that background and I really love books. And most of my education, I think, more than coming from the school, came from my readings. So because of that, I know in my heart that I would want to pass it to my child na your learning does not stop, in your schooling na to be a self-directed learner. Ganon. So, to be a self-directed learner, kailangan gusto niya magbasa, di ba? Because most of our learnings
Yes.
come from books. So
Yes.
it was clear to me that I wanted a literature-rich kind of homeschooling. So yun yung first step. So every time may nag-offer sa akin ng curriculum na literature rich, it appealed to me. And I am so glad because yun nga, in my community sila Novi, sila Catlo, because they had materials already, I was able to preview. And it was so overwhelming kasi lahat maganda. Lahat maganda. And then they would sometimes give me extra copies. Sobrang generous nila. And so for the time that I was not able to really think about what materials I would use, I maximized those free curriculum. Parang sample na binibigay nila. Ito hindi ko na kailangan. Sa'yo na to or binibenta ko na to. So I made use of that. But keeping in mind na I wanted a literature-rich kind of learning for my kids to love reading, to love exploring, and to be able to teach themselves at some point. So that's how I dealt with the overwhelm. But I really went through periods of overwhelm na parang there were times when I will just go through the curriculum and be paralyzed. May ganon. So, confession na yun. May ganon. Na parang, okay, ito ba? Ito. Sayang naman to. So, ito na lang. Hindi, try natin pareho. So, I had those moments, I must confess. And it took a while for me to have a clear view of what we wanted to do with our homeschool.
Yeah. Meron ba nangyari sa'yo, Gian, na meron kang nakuha pero, oh no, hindi ko talaga nagamit? Yung mga ganon, yung nasayang. Tapos anong ginawa mo dun sa nasayang?
Buti na lang, marami akong anak.
Yun, ang galing.
Congratulations.
So like for example, I tried for math. I tried sabi ko dalawang resource para marami siyang ma-cover. Turns out we were struggling through one of the resource. So I didn't really get this. I think I got visible thinking because someone told me, It's visual. It will help your child visualize the mathematical concept. So, di namin naggalaw yun. Then, good thing si Elijah, yun yung strength niya, math. So, ayaw niya yung paulit-ulit ng, yung MyPulse kasi mas makapal. So, I gave him that, faster, mabilis lang, and was just to check ano yung mga hindi pa niya cover na concept. So it worked. Ang mahirap lang kung walang ibang anak. So you really have to sell.
So mag-anak kayo ng marami para hindi masayang.
Para ma-return naman ng cost, mabawi mo yung cost. But yes, we have those mistakes of, buying my sale, my homeschool sale. Yes, let's go. Ganon.
Ako naman,
sometimes I am more in love with curriculum than actually teaching the curriculum. With the resource, parang, ang ganda-ganda nito. Tapos parang, ang ganda-ganda nito. Tapos nandun ka na lang sa ang ganda-ganda nito. Yes, I fell into that trap too.
Ako naman, Novi, at the start pa lang, siguro personality din, no? Meron talaga kasi mga kilala ko personality. Talagang yung personality, structured, organized, and that's not bad. Actually, naiinggit ako sa mga gano'n, no? I think, ako at the start pa lang, parang hindi na ako, at the start pa lang, alam ko na I'm not going to get a lot of materials. Parang umpisa pa lang alam ko na even if I don't have it, we can come up with this. Tapos, pangalawa, I think nag-agree ako dun sa sinasabi ni Jihan na it helps to have people around you na whether mas maganda kung mas advanced yung experience or magka-level lang kayo, you can talk about it and then they can help you. I think it helps a lot to have people na gusto ko tong material na to, I'm gonna buy this. So, pag mayroon kang kausap, bago ka mag-panic buying, pwede ka na nilang kausapin na, ganito yan. Like, halimbawa, sabihin ako, ganito yan, kailangan maraming test. O, pag maraming test, ayoko na yan. Ayoko mag-test, mag-check. Pero pag sinabi kay Jihan, it's a lot of literature, gusto ko yan. Bagay sa amin. So, it helps to have people around you who can advise you. So, may mga iba naman na wala silang masyadong kilala. I think available, marami ngayon. Ang blessing ngayon, mayroong PHA, mayroong ihomeschool, mayroong Happy. So even if they don't know a lot of people homeschooling, mag-chat ka and then a lot of homeschoolers are very helpful to advise.
Ang dami ko pang gustong itanong sa inyo, pero ayoko ma-preempt because these women, that I love, meron po silang i-announce na very good news and I would like you to take that opportunity. Ako po, nung time ko, wala kami mga workshop. Sa totoo lang, wala kami mga ganito, pero sobrang dami. Pero kung hindi ako nag-hype dito, pero kung pipili lang po ako, kasi I'm looking for workshops or for people that I know that I could be able to trust them. And these women really walk their talks. So, can you please invite us, Jihan and Saleh?
This talk about curriculum, this is a recurring issue in homeschooling families. And so finally, we thought once and for all, let's address this curriculum issue. And so we came up with this unboxing curricula event. So it's not just a one-day event because it's so hard to cover methodologies and resources in just, on one go. So this is a 6-day workshop. And we have speakers from our community assigned to discuss first a methodology, a path, a curriculum, and then we will recommend resources if that particular methodology resonates with you. You think it's something that is appropriate for your educational goals. Then after the talk, we will also be recommending resources. And so it will go from the final day is June 19. That will be the Q&A portion. So Q&A portion, this will be the time when, as you go through the videos for the previous 5 days, if you have questions, you can put your questions in the comment. And then we will collate all the questions and then we will answer them on June 19 at 1 p.m. via Facebook Live. But before that, the previous 5 days, if you register to this conference, you will be given access to videos daily. There will be a particular methodology that you will get access to, and that will run for 5 days. And the reason why we are doing this is because our PHA is an advocacy group. We would like to support our homeschooling families. And
Mhm.
also, we support homeschooling families by providing scholarships to those who are having a hard time during this pandemic. So, we would like to continue doing that for this coming school year. So, this event is a fundraiser for our homeschooling scholars.
Mhm.
Galing.
Yes,
Thank you so
and
much
the
for
topics are
doing this.
exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, how many topics are we gonna expect here, Jihan? Ang galing,
We have,
5 days, no? It's running.
yeah, so five. We have five. So, classical homeschooling,
Mhm.
Charlotte Mason,
Okay.
traditional, unit
Okay.
studies, and unschooling, life schooling by Saleh.
Yes, nako. Nako, sana maka-attend ako. Gusto ko kayong ihora-hora do'n.
Yes,
Sana
please.
mapanood ko kasi sa araw na yon. But anyway, one thing that you want to leave to our homeschoolers who are listening right now and watching iHomeschool PH, what is one advice that you can give to our homeschoolings, especially during this time of decision-making process?
Do not be merong kaba, pero do not be afraid. Because there are a cloud of witnesses before us who have shown that as they raise their children, as they teach their children, first with the principle of love, we do it because we love our children and we want the best for them. So kahit na along the way may blunders ka, oy may mali, oy hindi pala to, pero yung love for our children and the courage to take charge of their path to learning will always lead us and help us to make the right decisions for our children. Walang perfect homeschooler. Walang perfect homeschool. Pero merong mga courageous, loving parents and homeschoolers who are raising children that will make a dent in their generation.
Okay, for me naman, the beauty of homeschooling is that it's flexible. So, we learn in the process of doing it. We cannot know at the start. We cannot know
Yeah.
everything at the start of what will
Mhm.
work and what will not. We have to take a step of faith, and we also have to take a step, in wisdom. Like, I guess we need to first assess what do we have. Kasi minsan we're looking for resources and then we don't realize meron pala tayo. Hindi lang natin naalala. So, I think we need to take stock of what we have, what is in our hands, and then put our resources to those that really matter to us. Yung mahalaga, yung
Mhm.
talagang that's the anchor of your homeschooling. So that's where you put your resources. That's where you invest because hindi naman unlimited yung resources natin. So we put it where to the important stuff in our homeschool life. So for example, for me important sa akin yung um giving kids world a study on worldviews, who is God, theology for kids. So I give premium to good materials that will help me um, teach them effectively in that area because I would like them to view their other disciplines from the worldview, from the point of view, from the biblical point of view. I would like that to be their lens. So I will invest in that area and language there.
Thank you so much, Sale. And my dear Jihan, maraming salamat. If I'm gonna summarize lang, I was listening to you intently, guys, no? Parang nagkaroon ako ng wow, memory lane. But there are three things that I've learned in how to choose curriculum, no? I just want to siguro quote si Sarah Mackenzie. Sabi niya, curriculum isn't something that we buy, but something that we teach, something we embody, something that we love. It is the form and content of your children's learning experiences. So it is not something that we buy. Eh. Tama yung sinabi nila kanina. For you to be able to get the curriculum, you need to know yourself first so that you'll be able to gauge who your child is. So know thyself and know thy child. And don't let the curriculum be your master. Dapat siya po yung servant. And the last thing that I have learned in curriculum is do not be focused on curriculum. Tama si Sali. Kaya ang galing two kinds of ano tayo eh. Moms here, homeschool moms. Doesn't have to be expensive. But you focus. What is important to you? For me, is relationship is more important than the curriculum. No matter what is that. Kasi kahit lang yung maglalaba kami, batsa kami, matuturo ka na dun eh. For me, curriculum na yun. So, the everyday life, it's not even the material itself. But with these women na may wisdom, iba't ibang klase, ang gaganda po ng topic nila, sana meron ako nung unang panahon like that, di ba, Sale? Please, I'm telling you, this is a very good investment. So, check out and visit Philippine Homeschool Association in their Facebook. They also have an Instagram. DM them. Kulitin nyo sila. They'll mag-answer yung mga yan. And make sure po na you attend and take notes and grab this opportunity. So, whenever you invest for this webinar, it's not only gonna benefit you, but also this is also a cause to help others as well. Maraming pong salamat. Lagi lang po nating tatandaan, in homeschooling, relationship is more important than academic. Ako po si Nove Ann Tan, your homeschool coach, and I homeschool. Bye!
Bye! Thank you!